Hey guys, in this video I wanted to make a tutorial basically on how I burp on command and show you some of my techniques. Alright, so I'm going to show you pretty much the process behind sucking in the air to burp it up. It's pretty straightforward. The best way I would say is to start with like a stomach vacuum. So basically what you want to do is exhale your lungs and then close off that connection and then just suck in through your gut under the ribs. So that's basically the motion you're going to be doing. You're not going to necessarily be doing exactly that, but it helps to kind of know that you just have to suck it in, basically. So the other part, the other mechanic that you're doing when you're swallowing the air is in your mouth. You need to create that swallowing motion, and there's kind of, I mean, there's different ways to do it and everybody's built a little bit different, but the technique behind it is to basically swallow the air. So it's as simple as that. Just create that swallowing motion with nothing in your mouth. A lot of people struggle with that the most, I think. But it helps to just kind of hold your breath and just push it down your throat. So that was actually the beginning for me. I was able to kind of gulp a little bit of air at a time back when I was like younger. Like I first could do this at the age of like 6, I think, and that's how I would do it. And I got better at that, but that's kind of the easier part. The next half of what you're going to be doing is, or I guess the next step would be to, well, first combine the two. And that when you, when you exhale, it creates a lot of tension up here. So when you swallow, it's a little bit easier. It's a little bit easier for the air to find room down there. It's not fighting against the contracted muscle. Excuse me. Yeah, that's the downside of practicing. But so like I was saying, the next step is going to be to open that connection and basically do one big swallow. And that's where you really use the contraction, exhaling and sucking in. So to demonstrate, I'm gonna do just that. I'm gonna exhale and then just open up my throat. Ooh, yeah. Excuse me. That's basically the approach to it. That was a little bit dramatic of a movement there, but there's ways to be a little bit more discreet about it. But I'm just going to do that again. And that's basically what you're practicing. And that's basically me breathing into my stomach instead of my lungs. So the more you practice that, the better you'll get. I didn't really start practicing a ton until probably a couple of years ago. Not even that, closer to a year actually, I think. But clearly I'm pretty okay at it at this point. So that's essentially what you want to do. And then of course there's different types of burps. So like in the same way that you kind of pitch your voice, you can pitch your burps. So like if I wanted a low one, versus a higher one. And you can almost hear that that's kind of how you control the voice if you wanted to maybe talk while you do it. So that's what I struggle with the most as of now. I'm not bad at it necessarily, but ABCD. Yeah, it's not the easiest for me, but everybody's a little bit different. Oh, excuse me. And there's always a lot of air that just kind of stays inside. So like that burp wasn't necessarily intended, it's just I needed to get it out. And that is the other thing, when you're doing this, you're gonna wanna make sure that you do it probably with food in the stomach, if not some water, just drink something. The main issue is that when the stomach is full of air, it's gotta go somewhere, and oftentimes you'll feel a little bit, you might feel a little bit of air pass through. So it's just a mild gas, I guess. But if you want to prevent that, it's a little bit easier if you just have something to drink or eat. So that said, on an empty stomach, you have more room. Like I had a light lunch a few hours ago, and so I'm able to kind of fill that entire capacity with air, as opposed to if I had just had a full meal. And there's no room, it's hard to contract the muscles in the right way, but it's really fun. It's really helpful to learn this technique for me, specifically because it really helps to know how to just let out a burp. So if I ever feel like I have any trapped air, what's the most beneficial is, like I can feel some in there right now, so what I'm just gonna do is just like, so what I did to get that out, I contracted a little bit. The stomach is mainly over here, so that's what I was contracting. But I swallowed a gulp of air to open up that connection, and then I was able to let any more air there come back up. So it's pretty easy. That is pretty much the most that there is to it. If you wanted to kind of exaggerate the volume, there is a technique for that too. So, I mean, if you just kind of, it's almost like a yell, you use your voice. So I'm just going, basically, while I'm burping. And it's just, it adds a little bit more consistency to it, but like that there is just air. The more you practice, you can probably get louder, easier. And so I think a lot of people prefer, if they're trying to do this, prefer the long, loud ones. And that I think I have a lot of fun with as well, is just kind of seeing how long I can keep it going. But that's just me. But for example, yep, and that wasn't even a good example, specifically because most of the air just kind of came up. So if you noticed earlier when I said I was like basically breathing into my stomach, that's really something that happens frequently. That's a little bit harder for me to control. I mean, it comes with practice. I'm better than I was, but like, first of all, that noise, it's basically a reverse burp, sucking it in. That used to be really loud for me too when I was first practicing, but that's basically just exhaling out of the stomach. So I've definitely trained my capacity a lot in my stomach, so I don't necessarily have a hard time holding a lot in, but everybody's different. So you might be able to do it better, you might be able to do it with more difficulty. I know that some people just can't burp, and that's their biggest hindrance. And so if that is the case, I think it's really actually good to practice these techniques, specifically because if you know how to burp on command, you know how to let out a burp in any other situation, which is the other part. It is a lot of fun to just let one out. I can speak for myself when I say that I don't have any problem burping in front of other people, and if I get a reaction, that's a success. I like it. So that's why I wanted to make this video. It's just so you guys can hopefully experience the same enjoyment that I get out of it. But yeah, I'll leave you with one more.